Yo, PPMD, what's up, dude?
Can you hear me? Are we good?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right, cool. I was talking,
Oh,
and you were on your Armada rant, so I didn't know. I wasn't trying to get in the middle of that.
dumb.
So I had to make
You
sure.
can still hear the game though.
You recognize him?
You recognize
Yeah.
me?
I mean, I don't see a cam of you guys, but I'll just keep the stream open so it'll be all
Oh,
good.
you don't see a cam of us.
Wait, you don't see us, really?
No, I don't see you guys.
Oh wait, he can fix that.
Yeah, he will fix that.
Oh wait, it's over here. This is the camera we're gonna be using, I think.
I mean, while we're working on
Yeah,
that,
there
Armada,
you go.
what are you wearing?
Yeah, his furry,
fucking
his,
stupid
his
foxy.
furry instinct came out.
You know, I turned fully Fox. 20XX this year, guys.
Oh my god, I opened the stream just to see what was going on, what was going on
I
with
think
chat,
you
what was
look
going on with
fabulous.
you guys, and I couldn't believe it.
Well, it's what happened. And if we reach 8.5k, Mewtwo King is gonna have the Fox suit instead.
Oh, are you excited, Jason?
I'm hyped.
You look hyped.
He does. Wait, Adoma, can I get my phone back, by the way? Since
Yo.
we'll take some questions from the people
Yo.
as well.
Well, before that,
Oh.
I think part of the reason I agreed to do this is I think what you're doing is really awesome, and ministry really needs it. I mean, I don't really know the guy, but I hate it when stuff like that happens to anyone. So I was down to help out as soon as I heard there was something going on. So props to you for doing that, and props to everyone that donated and is making this happen. That's awesome.
Thank you, and we appreciate the fact that you're here. Tons of your fans are super excited.
You're telling me, that blows me away. People are still like that. I feel terrible. I want to be back so these people don't have to hold it in.
Well, but you're here now. Like, they're happy. Like, ever since we started this, they have been so hyped about just seeing you, hearing your voice, all of that. But yeah,
Yeah.
first of all, how are you feeling? How do you feel like your progress of getting back, health-wise, all of that?
Yeah, so just a quick reminder for those who might not know, I've had a health issue for about a year and a half, 2-ish years, and it's impacted my testosterone a whole lot. And there might be other issues, but that's the only thing I know about. And it took until about the middle of last year for me to start a treatment, and I was taking that, and it was going all right, and it was getting better, but it was slow. And I was supposed to be better in December. That's what my doctor said. That's what my specialist said, but I wasn't. And so we started experimenting with some things in the beginning of January, and that was around the time I updated everyone last. And so a good bit has happened since then. I'll talk about that pretty quickly. There was some good. January, we decided to take my highest dose and double it, which I was kind of scared of doing. But the first 3 weeks or whatever, I was making crazy progress. I was like jumping more with more clarity and thinking and everything. It was awesome. So I love that. Then last month was terrible. Last month everything just like slid back a lot. What happened was first my my prostate got messed up. And I don't really know what happened with that, but first of all, I'm way too young to deal with that. And second of all, I'm not going to talk any more about that because this is 2 esports. 2 esports is the stream for that.
Or esports.
But anyway,
Keep it esports.
there was another problem I had about 2 weeks ago, so the very end of the month. And that was that my heart started going really fast and hurting a lot. My blood pressure was going up, and it wasn't very good. And so I'm off my medication as of those 2 weeks ago, in like a day or two, and I don't get to know what's going on with that until mid-April. So I'm kind of in a limbo period where maybe something will happen, maybe something won't. But in the meantime, I have this other thing I'm working on, which I want to keep to myself unless it works, because it's a little weird. But that's the quick and dirty version of everything that's going on. I do think that the trend of everything is toward progress. I think if you look at me now compared to like when I was on Tapo's thing, for example, I am more energetic. I mean, I'm thinking a little more clearly. I think it's pretty obvious. So there's good. Thank you for the thumbs in the chat, by the way. I love you guys.
So the medication actually made your blood pressure go high, pretty much.
Yeah, so I was taking two drugs. One was to raise my testosterone, and the side effect of it has two functions. One raises testosterone, the other raises estrogen. The estrogen raising part doesn't bother most people, but for whatever reason, it it was making me really anxious all the time and just freaking out. So they gave me an estrogen blocker, and that should have just been the end of it. But it turns out that the side effect of the first pill will raise your heart rate and everything already, but the second pill has a side effect where it increases clotting. And so I think putting them together for as long as I did, and especially with the intensity as I did, was I think that was just a bad move. So when I go back in, I'm going to be like, let's not do it as intense this time and see if that goes all right. Because I went 6 months of the treatment before we went crazy, and it was going okay. But obviously, I want to get there faster. I just don't want to make any more serious mistakes because I was freaking out about my heart. I'm not going to lie.
We need that. So.
Wait, 1 second before we progress.
Stream, huh?
Domo, can you fix the audio? They are not quite happy with the audio currently.
The audio coming from Kevin or coming from us?
I'm not sure, but stream chat, make sure to let us know. So,
He says audio's fine.
but
Yeah, I see people saying audio is fine in chat.
They can hear what we can hear. If we
Yeah.
can hear what you can hear, then we should all be fine because we hear it good.
yeah, I feel
I
that.
don't
As
see
well.
anyone saying anything.
But yeah, like overall, like what we heard from you just now, like as you said yourself, it feels like it's been more ups than downs, like progress overall. And
Yeah, since last year, which was about when Battle of the Gods happened, I've made tremendous progress since then. Like I'm a million times better since then, like easily. I don't want to understate that, but I'm still not where I need to be. And to kind of put it in melee terms, because I play once in a while, and I get a little better as long as I kept taking my medication and everything, so I could notice my progress kind of in the game. I can do what I want about 60-70% of the time on average, where I could do it 0% of the time, a year ago. So that's not bad. It's not what I need to be doing for tournaments, and it's not sustainable at tournaments. I know you know that, Mr. Winner, but it's definitely really good progress.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So you're getting there, and it makes us all very, very happy. So like one question that a lot of people have been wondering about is when you do return to tournaments, since that's what we're all are hoping for, obviously. How do you feel like your first period of time during tournaments will be, and how will your mentality be going into tournaments?
My mentality is going to be just, I'm already fired up, and I'm not even all normal yet. I'm already fired up. I want to go hard every single day
Makes me feel good.
on this game and do work. I love it. I love this game. I love that it's still going. I love that the fans are there for me and for the game and for everything. I absolutely love it. I want to do all the work. As for how I think my results are going to look like, it kind of depends on how quickly I go to tournaments after feeling better. I thought I was going to take more time to get back to normal since I'm not playing very much, but I don't practice or anything because it doesn't really benefit me right now. Like I can do it, but I just don't get any better. So every time I play, I still notice that I improve as long as my other stuff's improving. So that makes me think that my original estimate of whatever it was, 3 or 4 months, I might not need to be that long. I might just need a month and a half of serious practice, and then I'll be able. And then the first tournament will be experimentation, getting videos, seeing how I compare to some other things, finding where my holes are, things like that. And then I think after that, it'll go a lot better. But it's kind of like Leffen was gone for a really long time. His first couple tournaments back, he wasn't a threat to win. He was obviously still really good. And now he's back in the swing of things. He's much more of a threat to win. So it'll be kind of like that. I'm hoping it'll be as faster.
All right, that's good to hear. And yeah, another thing people also have been wondering about is you're very notorious not only for your Falco but also your Marth. With a lot of people having at least 2 characters these days, do you feel like you're gonna focus equally as much on both your characters, or are you gonna have a preference towards one early on since you need to catch up again?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I kind of just picked up Marth because I was really bored, a lot of time with the game, and just I wanted something new. I wanted a new experience. And coming out of that and looking back, I'm going to be just really confused because when I went into learning Marth, I was in a certain period of my time of my life where I was trying to figure everything out, find myself, so on and so on. And now I'm almost on the other side of that with all these other other effects of, just going through that process and everything. And so I'm going to be on the other side, and I'm going to be, I know this is what's going to happen, is I'm going to say, all right, now I have to make a choice, do I go with one or the other? Do I go with both? Do I go with, and I've considered this, go with one for a while and then switch at some point, so that people like have a hard time figuring out when I'm going to switch and things like that, go with the other one for a while. I haven't decided yet. My gut tells me that no matter what, I am going to pick one at first when I come back, because it's going to be easier to practice and it's going to be easier to hold all the information. Whether I change it up later, I don't know. But I might do something where, like, and this is also kind of what I'm thinking. There's a bunch of goals I have to get taken care of for one character, and so I'm going to get all those goals met. Whether it's like win X amount of tournaments or like show people that XYZ matchups can be done. I'm going to do all that, and then I'll switch to another one. So that's kind of the loose plan I have.
All right. Do you want to go a little bit more in detail? Tell us about like one or two of these goals, or do you want to keep it on the low?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you about one of the goals. I want you to hate playing Peach against my Falco. How's that for a goal?
All right. That sounds
not with
interesting.
camping, but that's because you're so good at the matchup, and people always say Falco can't beat Peach, and I think that's ridiculous.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's a very fun matchup to play, and your Falco especially is like the Falco that really challenges my Peach. So I believe it's going to be a lot of interesting sets for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, I'm talking to the guy that wins all this stuff, so I got to get to finals and everything before I have to play you. So that'll just be a lot of fun. I think people will really enjoy that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people actually talk about like our rivalry and stuff like that, like one of the absolutely best. And we do have like a lot of crazy matchup switches over the years.
Oh yeah.
And then like some crazy comebacks. You winning Pound 5 against me, then me getting the revenge, and it was like back and forth in Apex 2015. Obviously, like a very special tournament as well. So I feel like our rivalry pretty much have everything.
Yeah, and our rivalry is really cool. We had, I think the coolest part, I wish we could have seen what happened after Apex 2015 when like things were more normal for me, because what happened at Apex 2015 was really interesting, because I don't know if I told you this or you've heard this from me, but it was like Apex 2013 in reverse, where we played our main winners and then lost and then switched to the other character, took a set, and then did pretty well but weren't quite able to clutch it out.
Yeah.
And I thought, that was just a cool reversal of how everything went. And I would have loved to have seen, whether everything afterward was kind of the same or whatever. I think that was just really awesome how it worked out like that.
That's very true. I've never seen it from that point of view, but that's tons of similarities actually.
Yeah, so I actually really, want our history to develop a lot more. I think there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Do you have anything specific you wonder about that you want to ask as well before we can take some fan questions and stuff as well?
Well, I know I've talked to you, Kevin, personally in the past.
Yes.
We talked. But I want to know, like, lately, how has, like, your, how can I say in the lamest terms, practicing, like, your daily regime, like, is there a process that you do? Like, do you still keep up with, like, playing? Like, I know you probably observe tournaments and stuff, but, like, do you yourself play a lot in downtime, or do you kind of just, like, rest and just watch?
Yeah, so in the beginning, like, late 2015, when I started recognizing there was an issue, I was still trying to play a lot, and I was noticing it wasn't really doing me very much good. And, I mean, it's kind of demotivating when you just play and play and play and nothing changes. So, like, if you do tech skill practice for a while, at least at the end you're going to be able to do those specific technical things more. If you practice tech chasing, you'll at least be a little bit better at reacting to, like, tech in place or whatever. So, I think I just kind of adjusted to my response to the training, unfortunately. So I don't practice very much. Like, after I watched, I forget what tournament it was. Maybe it was Genesis, because there was a lot of hype stuff that happened there. I was actually just inspired, and I practiced that day. I remember that. That was a lot of fun. But normally I don't, because I don't get much out of it right now. So the way I figure out how I'm doing is someone in the local area will ask me to come over and play, and I'll play them. for a little bit, and then I'll see how I'm doing. And it's really nice because one of the things that I've seen is even though I'm not practicing, my endurance has just gone up a whole lot. Like I wasn't even able to play a whole set versus anyone talented before, but now it's not really much the case.
All right. Does Jason want to say something?
PPMD Craigasm.
Nailed it. Good job, Jason.
Perfect.
I heard you're a rap god, Jason. Is that true?
Yeah, he actually is a rap god.
That's
I'm
crazy.
so proud.
When you going platinum? When you signing a record deal?
I don't know. Maybe Echo Fox, maybe.
Wait, are you actually gonna? Wait, no.
Why are you hitting him? I asked the
He's
question.
so violent. He's so violent.
I failed to
That's
protect
messed
you.
up,
I'm sorry.
man.
He loves Luigi so much.
I'm gonna blink 3 times if you need me to get you out of there.
Awesome. Happy to hear.
He hits hard.
Yeah, he does.
He actually hits
But it's
hard.
like, as I said earlier, like Luigi, whenever Jason feel like he needs any help, that's when Luigi comes out. That's his one true savior.
Look at him.
Mm. Is Luigi your brother, Jason?
Damn.
Come
Well.
back, Luigi.
That's tough love right there.
It's okay, I saved him. It's all good.
Yeah, you saved him. So yeah, also another topic that has been pretty big, especially since you have not been entering many tournaments lately, is Falco as a tournament character. We have seen Mango not playing that much Falco. He has some tournaments he plays more Falco, but most of the time he goes with the Fox, especially in very important matches. West Balls has been struggling with consistency pretty much always.
For the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. So like, what is your mentality? Partly towards Falco, and also, do you see any upcoming Falcos right now? Did you feel like might be able to like break it into like the next level?
So upcoming Falcos. Let's see. I don't see very many new Falcos that show a lot of promise. I think the only one. Why do I feel like I was waiting for me to say it? Is King Momo, that guy on the. I don't remember the tournament.
Someone's cracking up over
It
there.
was probably
You can't see him, though.
TNS, was
He
it?
doesn't wanna
Tampa
come
Never
out.
Sleeps.
Yeah,
He
I watched him at that, and I was like, oh, this guy.
He threw out
When people were saying Squid, yeah, Squid was when he was improving. I felt that way about Squid, but he's kind of plateaued or slid back a little bit. So, I don't see him as like being the person to carry the Falco mantle right now. But maybe he's clearly capable. He's a very smart player. So who knows?
All right. And as a tournament character, do you still believe he belongs in like the top 3?
Yeah, I mean top 4 at worst, at absolute worst.
Makes sense.
But and you can argue how much the results make him slide to 4th, or you could say he's better than the results, and it'll be shown eventually, and he'll be 3rd or 2nd or whatever, or maybe 1st. Like I don't know. It's something. My personal view on it is he's probably 3rd or 2nd. I think Fox and Martha are kind of competing for the number 1 spot.
Sounds very very reasonable, if you ask me at least. I'm a huge believer that this character is the best in the game. But
Oh, that's true. I never saw you dress up as Peach.
That's very true. Like sometimes you gotta turn fully 20XX, right?
I'm sure the chat, is thrilled with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, also, this is not a Smash-related question, but I was watching Punkation's stream, I believe it was yesterday,
okay.
or maybe 2 days ago,
Okay.
and they wanted me to ask you about Mario 64. Apparently, it seems like you're a fan of the game. And
Oh, I love the game. I watch streams of it if Punk or Cheese or some other people are running every day.
Awesome. I actually watch it a lot myself.
So sick.
So
Yeah, I
you're
see
gonna
you
be a
in there
speedrunner
sometimes.
Wait, what did you say,
Uh-huh.
Now?
Jason?
You're gonna be a speedrunner now.
Yeah, so like it was
Yeah?
really annoying because right around December 2014, January 2015, so right before Apex, I was thinking about how I was really, because that was when Punkation was doing a lot of speed running and he was competing for world record a whole lot and things like that. And that was really fun to watch. And I was just super excited about it and I loved it. And so I wanted to do it. And I was like, maybe I'll, eventually, like maybe my goal will be world record eventually. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. I just kind of want to get into it, see how I feel. And then right after that, all this crap happened to me, and the people were like, "Oh, but you said you were going to do it." And I'm like, "Hey, come on!" Like, I feel like I kind of screwed myself on that one because I talked about how great it was and how I was going to do it, and I'd practiced a little bit. I was practicing some tricks already, so it wasn't that I didn't care or anything.
What's your time?
And like, but I was trying to figure it out, and I wanted to.
PB, what's your
go ahead.
time?
Huh?
What's your time?
I haven't done any runs yet. You got to get all the practice first, man. My time is like a year or like 8 months or whatever. I don't know. However long it took me to beat it when I was younger.
That's a bad time.
But 1
Yeah,
year, that's
yeah.
probably 1
But
year faster than you would do it. So
No.
what?
Oh.
I did it when I was like 7.
Oh.
I believe in PPMD. I believe in
I'm
PPMD.
holding this.
Oh yeah, that's why you play Mario in the game. So you're so sad of no Luigi that
Yeah, you,
It
you-
takes
you, you
probably-
you figured it out.
yeah, I
Armada.
figured it out.
You're a
Yeah.
genius. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why you're the
I'm
best.
so fucking smart.
Put your Alex19 I thinks in the chat.
Yeah,
If-
they are always there. They're always there.
Yeah.
Another thing people are a bit curious about. I believe you have answered this question before, but probably a lot of new people in chat that would like to know. And that's your favorite tournament win of all time. And also, if you could go a little bit more in detail of what made this tournament special for you as a player.
There were a few that I was really, really happy with. There was like I have it between I think 3 or 4. I usually go with pound 5 because that was the culmination of kind of like the first phase of my career, and I had the comeback against you and everything, and like the last time we had played, you had beaten me relatively convincingly. So it was just great for me to see my own progress in that. And then to come back from losing, very convincingly in winners finals and having to soul search and everything because that was very difficult to handle. So that's usually what I go with. Apex 2015 was kind of similar. It was kind of, in a way, maybe I could say it was the culmination of the second phase of my career where I found myself through a lot of things. I had eliminated a lot of mental blocks that I had gotten after becoming a top player because there's this different type of pressure there, and as you know, and as Jason knows. And to be able to put everything together mostly, even with some stuff working against me, I thought was just profoundly awesome. So I was really happy about it. So I'd say it's between those two. I would probably give it to pound 5 just because of the nostalgia and how it kind of was like my coming of age story, I guess you could say.
Yeah, totally understandable. I remember playing against you in that tournament, and obviously I was very confident against Falco. Even though I knew our set at the Apex 2010 was pretty close. It was only game 3, sadly, that far into the tournament, but still. But I remember your combo game at that tournament. It was blowing my mind, and I still feel like a lot of Falcos can learn a shit ton from your punish game from that tournament in particular. It was a beautiful melee for sure. So, and I feel like that's also that tournament was when people started to count you as one of the gods, if we're gonna use that term.
Yeah, the way Mango described it was when you have to do something 3 times to be considered good, and he was talking about how he had to win East Coast tournaments and things like that 3 times in a row before people, because the first time they're oh, just a fluke, and the second time oh, maybe, and the third time all right, you're legit. So for me, it was kind of Apex 2010, then ROM 3, most people were convinced, and then pound 5, everyone was convinced. So I think it took the triple threat to really convince everyone, but yeah, I think after that point it was well established.
Yeah, it was progress for each tournament. Apex 2010, I believe you took 4th, and
yeah, that sounds right.
And it was probably quite a few there that didn't know quite how good you were, and then ROM beating this guy, and KK I believe as well, and then
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
'cause
pound 5,
I-
just destroying everyone.
yeah, well, except you and winners.
Except me in winners. But it's grands that count.
Yeah, I mean the last set of the day, I guess so.
Uh, tell PPMD how much we love him.
Well, thank you. I love you guys too. You're all beautiful people. I'm glad you're here with me.
What about those PPMD criticisms?
They are probably gonna be.
That's gonna go off. It's gonna go off. He wants to see him.
What's the most optimal way to eat a bagel, and how much does it improve your melee skills?
I think it actually makes you worse at melee. But one of the like I said in the original video, we go to the source, right? The original Last Stock Legends extra scene that spawned a bunch of nonsense. What I said was, I'm a simple man. Just like Bruce Lee said, you want to keep simplicity is beautiful. A straightest line is between 2 points. Cream cheese on a bagel, and beyond that, it's personal preference. It really is. I mean, I guess you could. I don't even know the strategies. I just do what feels right, and that's at the end of the day, that's all you can do.
Sounds like the opposite to Hacks. I remember when I was going out to eat with Hacks, and he literally tried to convince me that it was optimal options in terms of food. Not only how to eat it, like what to eat. He was like, no, you need like this piece of chicken, this sauce, this and this. I was like, wait, doesn't this come down to preference? He was like, no,
No,
trust me,
no.
this is optimal.
This is optimal.
How long have you been eating this hacks? My whole life.
Wait, what did you say?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, I love talking to Hacks about melee. It's so funny because I don't know if you ever heard Alex19 do his hack stories or anything, and he would talk about how Hacks was saying you always have to double shot it, and Alex was like, okay, dude. That story, that's one of my favorite stories. That's good stuff.
Yeah, having Hacks at the Summit couch was amazing. Did you catch anything from the Summit, by the way? Since
Dude, I
Hacks...
thought this last one was actually pretty good. I thought the format of doing some of the singles on Friday was a good idea, so that it wouldn't feel like such a goof off day, and people could, watch it, some for the silly stuff and some for the serious stuff. And then I thought the Mafia was all awesome, and the Melee was good too, obviously. But every single Mafia game, that joke destroyed me, man.
It's just so much
love
fun
that.
because people get
People
so
get so
emotionally
emotional.
invested.
Yeah, dude, it's really funny because the chat is really furious the whole time. Like, you guys are so bad, and then Reg is like, you are all so bad. And like I watch, and then but we are getting better. So we started out low level, and I think we're making progress. And it's oh my god, can I just say I love Chew Dad.
Oh yeah, I
That's all I
love the
need to
ending
say.
of that game.
Look, they're saying it already in the chat. I'm Villager. But wait, you guys can't both be Villager.
Yeah, I was about to say that. You both can't be Villager.
And then Zoo just.
It was like Detective Chew was on the case.
Oh my god.
And then towards Sue, he was like, why are you attacking a villager? It was like, it just felt so honest and sincere.
He was so honest that it was actually so important to the game. Yeah, you made it fun. It's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh my god! And then I don't know if you guys couldn't see this, or I mean, after the very last game when Chew was at the end again, him and Lucky and Shab. Hey, I know. We won't talk about what happened, but so they lose, and then everyone's yelling, and you can hear them, and then the camera picks up because you can only see the middle, and it pans to the side. I don't know if you saw this already, but it's Chew sitting there like.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my god, I laughed for so long.
It was
Dude, I
so
love they're all
good.
doing the pose in the chat.
It was actually someone on Twitter that made a tweet with Chillin's My B face, and then Chew that right next to it with that face.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Thank goodness for Chew That, man. Holy cow.
Can you reenact that face again? Like this?
Oh, it's so good.
Namaste.
So, another question here from Fish Type. He wonders, when you come back to tournaments and stuff again, do you believe that eventually you're gonna start becoming a regular streamer as well, or not?
Yeah, so I care a whole lot about content creation, and I was just starting to show that when everything happened to me. Because like even though I was feeling pretty tired, I was still putting out YouTube videos kind of regularly. And then before that, I'm not going to say I ever streamed frequently because that would be a lie, but I was doing it a little bit. And my plan is to get something like 3 or 4 days a week, 3 or 4 hours of those days every week of streaming, and then put in YouTube videos as needed. That's kind of a response to community topics that come up because like. At some point, people are like, "Oh, the Summit Compendium is ripping everyone off." And it's like, oh, I want to talk about that, but that's only relevant around the time of Summit. I can't just make one, in June when Summits aren't really around. So it's kind of one of those things where sometimes I make 2 or 3 videos a week. Sometimes I might not do any for 2 weeks. It would kind of just depend on what I'm inspired by and what the community is thinking about. And then something that I get asked for so much, like I asked the other day about this actually. And this is one of the toughest ones that I want to say that I have done, but I haven't, is they always talk about usually a Falco guide, but sometimes a Marth guide too. And I really want the community to have those resources to improve because not just for them and because, it's fair and they, should be able to have that opportunity, but part of the reason I was able to start playing Falco and Marth in the very beginning of my career was because of YouTube guides that were made around that time. And so I kind of feel like I really need to pay it forward and give someone else that same opportunity, because that stuff's not relevant now. So I really want to give people that, and it's extremely important. That's going to be one of the top of the line things I want to get taken care of on that for sure.
That's awesome. I feel like everyone is gonna appreciate such a guide a lot. Like we don't really see too much content in terms of like getting better at melee from top players, to be honest.
Yeah. And I was thinking about even collaborating with some people on different matchups, and I understand that people want to keep things hidden, so I would just do like overviews with a lot of people, or maybe if it's something like a Marth Ditto where I play Marth, the other person plays Marth, maybe I ask Jason for just his perspective, and I can add that into what's going on because he obviously very very good at the matchup.
Yeah, honestly, like speaking of Marth Dittos, I gotta say your Marth in that matchup in particular,
you're way better at that than me.
it looks. I know it's not solved, but it looks so good.
That's my favorite matchup in the game. It's
no
like
surprise.
everything I learned, like in the time I spent learning Marth, is directly applicable to Marth Dittos. Oh my god, it's like I can just be free to be myself, and the other one just dies. It's great.
Haha, great.
It's awesome.
I actually have a question from Hungrybox himself. He messaged me. He wanted to ask you, and I know we went through the whole bagel thing, but he said he wanted to ask you if you really think the $9 bagel was worth it, and also
I knew he was gonna ask me something.
And also if you think your brother Twitch will be a top player one day.
So it was 100 million% worth it. So people don't know this, but I only eat bagels when I'm either going to tournaments or I'm at tournaments. I don't eat them any other time. So it's like I have something to look forward to because like sometimes competing can be stressful or flying is just like a pain. So I look forward to eating bagels. So the $9 bagel, I was like, I can eat this bagel or I can try and figure out some other way to live and sustain myself, but it's not going to be as enjoyable. I'm getting that bagel. God dang it. So
God dang it.
That's what happened. And I regret nothing. So fair question. I was pretty sure that's what he was going to ask me. So I don't know how I knew, but I was just like, if he asked me about that Twitter video he took of me eating the bagel.
But was it a good bagel?
It was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to pay for quality, right?
Yeah, you get what you pay for,
That's very true. That's very true.
And how about your brother?
He's actually his trajectory kind of mirrors my own, and I don't know if that's related to me or anything or not, but he was doing so well at the beginning of 2015. Like there was that Bad Moon Rising tournament where he
He got psyched.
he beat Cobalt once. I think he beat Drug Fox, and he had like a decent set with Plup. But is in winners and losers he got it was pretty free, but he had a respectable set in winners. And after that was when people started saying, "Oh, maybe is he the next big thing?" And I really think that he still can be, and he's really good. I have tons of faith in him. I play with him so much, so I kind of know what he's capable of. And but he had a fall off kind of like mine afterwards. And that might be because, various reasons. When people do well, sometimes they're like, oh, should I be able to do this well? Like, maybe not consciously, but on another level. And so maybe they sabotage themselves. So maybe there was that. Maybe it was some other things. But, so I don't know if it's going to happen eventually or anytime soon. That's kind of up to him. He's not even really crazy about the game right now. Ask me to play too much anymore like he used to.
Right.
But that might be more because of me than him. I don't really know. But we played a few times. Like we played over Christmas break, over winter break, and that was pretty fun. But yeah, I couldn't tell you. It's up to him. But I full faith that he could do it if he wanted to. He's a very smart player. He knows it.
And branching off from HBox's question, of course, this is coming from him. He's asking you, maybe, what is your favorite pop-off of all time?
Of mine or
of anyone's?
Someone else's. Like I just want to make sure I know.
Anyone? Anyone's pop-off, yeah.
Anyone's.
Your favorite, your top favorite.
Dude, does it have to be a tournament one? Because that Hungry Box pop-off video was amazing. Like everything about it, when he opened the jar of, I think it was peanut butter, and he just.
Oh yeah! Oh, from the Summit videos, the content.
Yeah, the Summit video. Yeah. No, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. But I guess if it's like a tournament one, let me think. You know what? It might be, again, this isn't a tournament one, but like almost all the Mafia pop-offs when the town wins are really good. Because it's just a bunch of people roaring out of like really tense silence, and that's really awesome. But yeah, again, I don't know. As far as, I guess the only other iconic Smash one that I can think of right now is the Armada Viking roar. I think it was in Apex Teams. I want to say. I could be wrong about
I
that.
remember that.
It was against Ice and Leffen, loser finals at Apex 2015.
Yeah, that was legendary.
Yeah, my biggest pop-ups always happens in teams with Android.
I was on stage, like right there, and literally I felt your roar, and I was just kind of like, okay, this is a big win.
That was intense. Oh, there was one of mine that I thought was maybe not one of the best ones in Smash, but it was very liberating. It was when I beat Mango at Kings of Cali, the first one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Because, dude, it was so much, like, it's still rough going to Cali to play. I know you know that, because, like, they're, just all pulling for Mango super hard and everything. But at least there's distance between you and the crowd now. Back then when they were all right behind me, and they were going ham on me the whole time. And then Mango, you know how he is the weeks beforehand because you booked the flight early and everything. So he was just, like, talking all this junk, and I was like, oh, I want to get this guy in his hometown with all them talking that junk. And I did it, and it was so satisfying.
Isn't that one of the great Hugs commentary?
Huh?
Oh yeah, Hugs commentary, that's it.
The legendary Hugs commentary.
I wasn't going to talk about that. I was going to leave that out.
Hugs and Ken.
The most beautiful commentary ever.
Now, branching off from, we were talking about your brother Twitch, I know we were talking about Bad Moon Rising. They actually announced Bad Moon Rising 2 in July. I know he most likely will be in attendance, I'm sure. But how about you? Are you planning on maybe making a visit to Bad Moon Rising 2 in North Carolina?
Yeah, so there's like a tricky thing with me and attending tournaments. So there are a lot of things that I want to go to just to kind of go and see people, because like even if I don't play there, people are still pretty happy with me going to things, but there's a balance. If I go, there are a lot of people that are going to ask for pictures and to play and maybe like a commentator, just a bunch of photo ops and everything, and I don't mind that. I love doing that. But physically, it's just harder for me. So that's the first thing. The second thing is if I go, people will be like, "Oh, are you working back into coming to things again? Like, are you good?" And like, I might not be totally good, and I won't really know. So it's one of those questions where if I keep a low profile, I don't have to answer that. I don't have to disappoint people because I hate doing that. So for me, it's more about disappointing people less than about like going and enjoying and helping the people that are there more, if that makes sense. But I might do it. I don't know. Who knows?
I know you were there the last one for mostly commentary, right? If I recall.
Yeah, I was there at the last one for commentary. We'll end to get whooped in the crew battle.
One question I saw a lot on the Twitch chat is, what is your thoughts on the Smashbox?
Oh man, this is something I really want to talk about because that people were arguing about that for like a week. I was like, oh, I want to get in on this, but part of the thing about the Smashbox, I mean, the big thing is I don't really understand it. I'm just gonna be straight up. I don't really get the pros and cons of it and how it's supposed to work and like how it relates to all this modifying in the GameCube controller. I had an extensive conversation with someone much more in the know about because he dabbles in fighting games and he's seen the arguments for its stick and everything. So he was filling me in on that. And what it kind of sounds like is, and this is again, this might not be my eventual opinion, but the way I kind of think about it is the Smashbox or the Haxbox, whatever, those might not be the thing that we actually need to worry about because they're maybe in some ways marginally better, in some ways a lot better, but then with GameCube controller modifications, it becomes about the same. The thing that my friend was telling me was that it opens the door. If we let these be legal, that eventually there will be a stick in the future that will solve the problems that like the Smashbox and the Haxbox have, and like maybe like Mad Catz makes a Smash stick eventually because they want to make money, So like there's a market, and we allow this other thing, so maybe they come in and do that, and so then that would be something that maybe does make GameCube controllers obsolete. But like again, I don't really know a whole lot about it, and I would flesh this out a lot more with a lot of details and supporting reasons and everything if I was doing a YouTube video. But that's kind of my quick conclusion of it. But who knows? I don't know. The whole thing, the way it feels to me though, is if we allow it, we have to allow everything that comes after that, and we really need to have that discussion seriously, not just have a Twitter war about it.
Right. Makes sense. I remember the Twitter war when that started up, and that was a big mess.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a few of those since Smashbox and the Haxbox.
It's been a little less quiet,
At the very least, the Falcon box is probably not going to bring a lot of controversy.
Probably.
It doesn't even have wires.
I can't believe he's so committed to that one too. Like I always there's no way he's gonna make the same joke again. Like it's got to be at least a little different. No, it's the same every time. And
it was still so funny.
It was still funny because it's Hax, and he's deadly serious with his serious, deep Hax voice. Like what a guy.
He's so committed to the memes.
Yeah, no, I respect it.
Jason, do you have any questions or anything?
Yeah, you have been pretty quiet.
I already talked. First, I didn't want to interrupt, and two, I already talked on Facebook. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's like nothing new.
Yeah, but something that you maybe asked him that the fans in Twitch chat do not know about. Something that you believe the people want to hear.
You just talk about Marth.
That's the only thing the people want to hear. Then we know.
All right.
Sorry, guys. Falco's dying. It's all about the Marth. Sorry.
I don't
You heard it here first. He died on the stream.
He died.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Just if you have something that either you wonder or something you believe that the people wonder about.
Anything.
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 You can ask him anything.
Ask him anything.
I have a question for Jason. I'll rescue you here, Jason. I'll ask you a question.
You got questions.
All right. You've been asked this question before. All right. You've been asked this question today, I think. But I want you to think about your answer carefully before answering. Okay, can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, the question is, when are you going to start pivot tippering?
Damn. Yep, I believe I've heard that specific question at least 100 times during the week I've been here.
And
probably more.
We heard it today.
That's the hardest thing in a game. To do
What's
consistently. That's like the hardest thing for me to do consistently.
Dude,
Like,
dude.
let me explain why I think. Because, okay, you know how real time is like, let's just say like 1,000,000 frames per second, whereas in a game it's 60 frames per second?
Mm-hmm.
A one frame, like, window, you could get lucky or unlucky enough for it to be the beginning or end of a frame. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No,
Like, you understand, like, what I'm trying to follow? So,
Yeah.
so
I've
just
heard
by
about this.
luck,
No, it's not-
just
it's
by the
not
values of luck,
inherently
you might have a bigger or smaller window to get it. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I know that it's not inherently 100% consistent, but the way I feel about it is it's good enough, the reward is good enough to where it's worth going for.
I totally agree. Totally agree. But if you want to keep making my life at least a little bit easier, I guess I should not complain.
Be careful.
Just DI away and it doesn't matter.
Dude, but do you really expect me to do that every single time?
Yes.
For 5 matches?
Well, there's
Yes.
also, there are other
I
ways
do it in
to
Marv
get it.
Dittos.
You can get.
I'm
You
proud
can
of
He
you.
does it to me in Marv Dittos too.
I'm proud of you.
You just,
That
oh, I'm
you're-
gonna get hit. Hold down away.
I'm proud of you. You can never use it in neutral either. It has to be after a grab. That's the only option, right?
That's when people think it's amazing.
You can still use it in neutral sometimes.
Pivot tip ring a shield's pretty cool.
That's pretty
You
cool.
act like it's so reliable. It's not.
I'm not saying it's 100%, consistent, right? Like it's not an up throw nair on Fox at 100% or whatever.
I just
but
think
it's-
two frame
it's up
windows are
there.
way more reliable.
I feel like
Yeah,
the
so
only
There's like a plan. There's like a
100%.
plan B.
The
You
100
obviously go for perfect, but then if you're a frame off, you're still okay.
Dude, the thing here that is 100% reliable is you complaining about pivots.
Thank goodness Luigi's not here.
Yep,
Oh,
and now he's
nigga.
coming up.
My bad, dude. My bad, dude. I'm sorry.
No!
It's okay, Kevin. Not your fault, dude.
Guys, I thought he was gone. I forgot that he got picked up and put back there, like after he got thrown. That was my bad.
No
Thank
worries,
you,
dude. He always have Luigi very close to his heart.
What? Where did that come from?
all right, Jason, you got him, man. You showed him. You
Now he
asserted
has
your
two.
dominance.
Yeah,
Two
now he
weapons.
has two. He's super like.
Domo and a friggin'
Is this your final form, Jason?
Shut the hell.
Actually, Kevin, since you were asking, do you have any more questions that you want to ask us or your fans or anything like that? Like, do you have any questions that you want to say?
Do I have any other questions? I hadn't thought about this. Dang, that caught me off guard. I was expecting to get the questions, not give them.
Yes, I
And
know.
I thought asking Jason when I was like, "Oh, the heat's off."
Yeah,
me."
you
Nope.
mentioned one to Jason, so I figured, hey, maybe you have more questions or concerns, or did you want to mention something?
No, I mean, I guess the only thing I would ask, I mean, I'll just ask Jason Armada, do you feel like the friendlies that you guys have been playing have been benefiting you? Because sometimes it's more serious, sometimes it's less serious. Do you feel like you guys are learning a lot and everything? Because obviously it's like strengthening your tech and reinforcing understanding. But I'm wondering if there's something beyond that for you guys right now.
So I learned a bit here and there, but I haven't done as much Marv Peach as I would have liked. I've been focusing a lot on just like general stream improvement. So I've been doing sub goals and I've been like reading donation stuff for ministry.
I know
A
you're
lot
that
of the
guy.
stuff I've been doing is actually just like for the ministry donation drive, to be honest.
Right.
I would actually like to play way more because I feel like where I am and what I could be are very, very far apart.
Sure.
It's very respectable,
Very optimistic of you.
That's just my honest opinion.
but it's very
Well,
respectable.
I'm
of
not
you
very.
and Noble
I'm not really optimistic
you
as
have
a
been
person.
putting in.
I just think that.
a lot of work towards ministry. We have around 8K donated so far, so a huge shout out to all the people out there.
Trying to
You've
hit
done
Then
Thank
wear a
goodness.
fox costume, and
Yeah, the 8.5, you're gonna
700
wear
more.
it.
you think you're gonna get
Is
that?
it the
Yeah,
same
we are gonna
costume or
get
does he
that.
get his own?
Not very quickly.
Well, we only had one, so.
Oh, so you get the Armada sweat in it too, man. That's a bonus right there.
The Swedish sweat.
Hey, what a deal!
Yay!
That champ sweat right there.
Yeah,
You're gonna
champ
be
sweat,
better at melee
yeah.
after you put the suit on.
Yay!
All right, so to go back to your question, I feel like for me personally, and you can probably relate to this quite a bit, Kevin. Like in Sweden, I don't have like the best kind of practice at all times. So for
Mhm.
me to just be able to sit down and play a lot against great players, I feel like it personally helps me a lot. So that's really, really good for sure. I still believe what I told Jason earlier, that sometimes, especially with his Fox, he should just not try to cheese people, because they only play Fox in his H-Fox, and you can't cheese Puff. It never works.
Well, wait. See, you always say that, but like you.
Back
think
throw
cheese is-
shine.
Yeah, back throw shine, but there's no like you kill it like 50
Yeah.
plus basically for the most part.
Wait, on
So
Fox
I
or-
still never like understand.
Yeah, but like how you corner yourself. I feel like sometimes you go for one-dimensional stuff, and against Puff even more than other characters. I personally believe that you could practice more different stuff in friendlies.
Yeah.
I feel like your mentality sometimes in friendlies is to win every single one.
No, I feel like I just understand more morph mix-ups because I just use the character more.
That's
I
a
feel
fair point.
I feel like I just understand, like I know Fox has more options, but I'm like, I feel like I understand less of them, and I'm like less perfect at them. Whereas with Marth, it's like not only am I more consistent at them, but I've thought about it more and just like I understand like more. Oh, what here's like all the stuff Marth and Sheik can do from my experience and time. Whereas Fox, I'm just like, it's kind of like how my Peach only exists for Ices. It's like my Fox only exists for Puff.
Yeah, your Marv is way
So
more
I have
of
them
a
like
natural.
yeah, my Marth and Sheik pretty much exist for everything else.
Yeah.
That's not like Icy's Puff. So I understand them on a wider range. It's like how you can get by beating Ices without even playing the matchup super optimally just because you're so good at Peach as a whole. That's kind of like me more of like Marth and Sheik. I just understand the character way better. Whereas Fox, I'm like, okay, I understand less because I don't use him as much.
Yeah, no,
That's why I've been
it's
I've
a
been
fair
trying to use
point.
him more, but I'm like so far behind already.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I still believe you can catch up though.
You just gotta play with Prince Abu more.
That's true.
The
Gotta play with
homie.
Prince-
That's literally the only chance. The best chance for destroying Puff is Prince Abu going to as much stuff as possible.
Would you say he's
That's
the
right.
savior of
We're doing a
melee?
second donation stream for Prince Abu after this, right?
Oh yeah, is he still modded?
No
I
idea.
modded him hours ago because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, he came in the chat and he was like, "Why am I mod?" Lol. He didn't understand. It was
Someone
pretty
told me
funny.
to do it. I'm like,
They were asking some good questions. I've forgotten them.
Oh, in
but
the
I
stream
will-
chat or
Huh?
in the stream chat or who do you
In
mean?
the chat.
Yeah, we're between chat and Twitter right now because there's a lot of questions here as well. So we're kind of jumping up and down.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to take it over Twitter just because like Twitch
Yeah.
chat is going.
I'm always looking though.
Yeah.
Xbox don't want to play me, dude. He wants to play me at Fox Falco and this and game.
All right. Another question here
Okay.
on Twitter is neutral game obviously is a very important aspect of melee, and the fans wonder how do you feel like your neutral? What makes your neutral game very specific and like what makes it your neutral game special compared to the rest of the top 6 members?
My neutral game is different in that I'm trying to think of a way to say this simply because there's a lot there. Neutral is extremely complicated. My neutral is different in that I'll say it like this. I believe, the most care in seeing what the other person is doing and trying to mold my already existing game plan around that. So it's not that you and Leffen and everyone don't do that already. You obviously do. That's why you're so good. But I feel like that particular part of what I do is just pushing that so much farther. So in your case, you forgo a little bit of that for consistency and setups for punishes and things like that, and that can that's like just a certain trade-off, right? There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but we're just approaching it differently. That's all.
Yeah, no,
So
that's a fair point. It's like, it's as you say, it's a very, very big topic for sure, and a lot of times it's not even about being right or wrong. It's just about doing the right thing at the right time. It's a very important thing in melee, I feel.
Another question here is if you have to give. This is from Knuckles at Mini Knuckles. If you have to give one bit of advice to any player looking to improve just a little bit, what would it be?
Don't force friendlies.
That's so funny. My response was gonna be just play friendlies all day.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's like typical community wisdom, right? Just play people as much as you humanly possibly can,
Yeah.
and then you'll be good. But I think that
that
people are missing out on analysis and solo practice, and particularly with the solo practice, what people do is they just mindlessly run around the stage and they make themselves worse off because you can't mindlessly run around in a match. You have to respond to an opponent, so you have to practice in a way that helps you respond to the opponent. And I think, and that's not necessarily anyone's fault, right? Because there's not really, again, a guide out there to do that, which I really want to do, but it's not there. And so I think that, it's kind of like a triangle. So you have friendlies, and you have analysis, and you have practice, and they all kind of complement each other. But I think, the base, the practice and analysis feeds into the friendlies, because then you have ideas and things that you've worked on. And that lets you really get the most out of your friendlies instead of maybe reinforcing bad practice or something like that.
Yeah, that
That's my-
sounds like a lot of things to take in there for sure. Like we two had that discussion about like multiple things like Smash and like other stuff, that the importance of like, how do you say, like when you're doing things, if you're doing them wrong, it doesn't matter how many times you're doing them.
Yeah, it's just the perfect practice makes perfect, not practice makes perfect.
Pretty much.
Basically, get into the right habits.
Yeah. That's very important for sure.
Why are they all asking me A or C stick? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Probably for
I'd say-
they're probably asking about aerials maybe without
Oh
looking.
yeah, because
Yeah,
everyone,
no, I understand why I understand the question. I just don't know why everyone
Because
wants
Twitch
to
chat.
know.
actually
Is
we
this
talk
to
about
me?
this,
I don't
remember
get it. Okay, well, anyway.
how can you justify if he uses A for his aerials or C stick? So now we can actually answer. For your aerials, do you just use A or do you also use C stick?
Do you see stick for your nair?
I use A for everything
Wait,
Oh, really?
Really?
what?
So it's true.
except rising up air.
Oh, I was gonna say I was thinking of up air when I said that. I was like,
Rise
I used to do it with A also, but I was like, that's not worth it.
dude,
I did it for
I feel
years.
like C stick. I think you should try using C stick more because you can do things like perfect, easy retreating fairs and stuff. I feel
Yeah.
like it on a human level, it's gonna be more reliable and consistent.
Yeah. One of the things I was practicing in early 2015 was I was practicing as retreating fairs, and I was comparing the difference with A and C stick to see if I could get the difference to be negligible or gone. And C stick was pretty consistently better, but I messed it up a little more because I wasn't used to doing it. So I had to kind of evaluate that trade-off. You know, and preparing for upcoming tournaments, obviously long term, maybe I would just use it. But I never really made an end call on that. And then with Falco, it didn't seem as important. But you know, with Martha, I think it's extremely important because you're drifting so much, and you really need that.
Okay.
All right. So Twitch chat. Do you guys have any last?
X or Y? What I use X for everything.
While they ask in Twitch chat, I have one here from Blank.
I use X for
1500.
everything too.
If you were to fight any of the other current gods, how would you stand against them with your current skill? Let's just up it up to like top 10 at least, like the top 10 players. Where would you put yourself that you think you can probably outshine, even in your current state?
The last time I played was a couple weeks ago, but in that state, my feeling was that I was something like in terms of bracket placing, I would be something like a top 32 or top 16 placer. So what that would mean for that question is, like my highs are good enough to where I can kind of compete with the top 10 right now, but my lows are what kill me because it's just maintaining the focus is really hard for me.
Right.
So I would say it's something like all of the top 6 I pretty much don't, unless they were just playing really terribly and I was just incredibly well prepared, maybe I'd be able to win. That'd probably be the only way. And then as it progressively went from like 7 to 10, I'd have a better shot. But again, the odds would not be in my favor right now, I think. Maybe in a best of 3 I could cheese something out. That'd probably be the best I could hope for.
Makes sense.
What if I had a sub goal to go to NC at some point?
What?
and then-
What?
To North Carolina. What if I just made that like a sub goal or something, and then if I reach it, I just stay for like a week or something? Would you be down? That's just a random idea I had.
I mean, I don't know how much benefit you're going to get from playing me, so I don't know. I don't really want to waste your time like that.
And there you got the answer.
He said no.
Now he's thinking Santa Claus is not real.
Hey, I mean, you wanna come and try it? You're welcome to. I'm not gonna stop you, I guess, but you just got to be aware of what you're getting into coming into it. I'm not like I have been in a lot of tournaments, unfortunately. And I want you to be able to get the most out of it. You want the people to get the most out of what they're paying you to do and everything. That's all. Trying to make everyone happy.
I'm just saying, if the first match. That's all I'm asking for. That's all
I'm
I'm
gonna
asking
double check my house, make sure there are no Luigis in it, so I'm safe.
for. Yeah. Are you happy? He's looking for him.
He's
I believe
looking-
they are
he's
still
looking at
asking
Red.
L or R.
You were throwing it over there.
I
IEL
don't even
and everything.
know. I don't even know where it is.
You already have the parachute set up.
Yeah.
Like way ahead of time.
Yeah.
You were tilting your shield before I even came near you.
That's really funny.
I knew you were gonna do that.
That's messed up, man.
Nice read.
All right. That's actually yeah. Ask him about teams. So
Okay.
yeah. So when it comes to teams getting more recognition these days.
I actually thought the teams at Genesis was awesome, and I thought it was more fun to watch than the singles, at least for me. The teams were crazy at Genesis. So I think that's a really good sign, honestly, because, I mean, obviously I'm not as good at teams as I am at singles. I don't think I'm as bad as sometimes I'm made out to be, but, I recognize I'm not as good, and I have to put in work to be doing what you and Android or QFAT or Left and Ice are doing, and so on. I think teams is awesome, and what I did for a long time, which I can feel good or bad about depending on the day, is I'd always team with my friends or people that I couldn't really win with, but we could go really far, or at least go decently far, and we can get like a kind of respectable placing. And now what I want to do is I want to go with someone that we can talk deep strategy with and work really hard on it and have set plays and stuff, kind of like what PewFat does, where they have like a word and then it makes them do something. I kind of like that. I had that idea a while ago. I want to do that.
Then that means he grabbed the fox. he grabbed the opponent, and then S5 comes in for the up smash. That's like one of the things they do.
Yeah.
He talked about that on his stream once.
Yeah, because also speaking of teams, I feel like I believe outside of Summit 1, the last time you entered teams was at Skatar when you were teaming with Mango. And I know in the past people were comparing your singles results and teams results a lot. And they were like, PPMD not as good in teams as he is in singles and that kind of talk. But I do remember the Skatar sets, and I was really impressed because I felt like you were doing really, really good. I feel like partly it might have been because you were not playing with a person where you necessarily had to carry them as much, so you could take a little bit more of playing a little bit more laid back, fitting your style.
Your team with Mango, you don't have a choice.
That's also true.
But yeah, I mean, I if I had it my way, I wanted to go in too. But it's like Mango is just like, no, you're gonna play back. I'm gonna go in. I'm like, whatever. I want this team to work, so I'm not gonna fight. So I mean, yeah, but it was the first time. No, I teamed with Jason at Genesis 2, but I was really sick, so oh my god, I felt so bad about that. By the way, my bad, Jason. I was it was 5 years or whatever ago, but still feel bad about it. Yeah, so I was really glad to have the opportunity to do that with Mango, and we did take a set. And this is my argument I would make to my hypothetical ideal teams partners, Mango and I took a set off of Armada 2 King, and even regardless of how anyone made a play in that set, that's not something very many teams at all can say. So I feel like that point gives me some leverage in discussing it. Now again, I recognize I'm not on the level in teams, certainly not at the moment, but even if I was completely healthy, I'm not on the level of you guys. But I definitely think I can get there, especially with the right partner, and that's gonna be one of those hard sells. So I'm probably, when I get better, I'm gonna focus on singles first. So at least they say, okay, you're good enough to team with in 1v1s, and we can develop a team skill. That's kind of that's how I'm thinking about approaching it right now.
Do you have any person in particular that you feel this person seems to be available? I feel like we maybe would make a good team. Do you feel like that person sort of exists at the moment, or do you feel like that might be something that just happens naturally?
There are a couple people I have in mind, but most of them are in committed relationships, I think. So it's you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to go home wrecking. That's messed up, man. So I'm not gonna do anyone dirty like that. Oh, the chat. It looks like the chat knows. The chat remembers who I said before. But yeah.
One thing that I saw, it was choose one or two. It was do you claw or regular?
Regular. Clawing doesn't make any sense. If you haven't noticed, I do everything really basically. A basic A button instead of C stick, all X for everything, all L for everything. It's just I just keep it real simple and don't mess with the natural order.
Okay, so you yourself see no benefit in going claw, pretty much.
Not personally, but like I think Armada, you can tell me if this is true or not. I think if I played more Peach, I would be more interested in learning Claw because that
Yeah,
seems to benefit her a lot.
it does benefit her when you do like retreating aerials when you're floating. That's something I need to get used to more myself. It's something I throw in once in a while, but not
Wait, you
often
don't
at
claw?
all. No, not really.
Really? I think I only ever play
Yeah,
by claw.
you do.
I didn't even notice, like, I saw a picture of me in, like, 2007 or 2008 or something. Somebody... it was,
Always
like,
07. Keep going, keep going.
and then there's, like, a
that's a
picture of
good
me,
meme.
like, clawing or something. It looked really strange. I was like, wait, I do that? I was like, I never really thought about the controller. I just kind of, like, do things. and then, like, do it over and over, and then eventually make a style. But I never, like, consciously thought about, hey, what is each finger looking at? I just feel like the game's so much easier to play on claw. I thought everyone would just do it.
Yeah, no, it's actually not that many people that use it like.
I
For
didn't
everything as you
even
do.
know it was already called claw. I just held it the way I felt. This makes no sense to do things easy.
Yeah, no, it's some people that do it, but I feel like for most players that use claw, it's more like they do it on occasion, like pivot up smashes, for example. If you're playing Fox, a lot of people like to do that, like up on the C stick and press Y or X at the same time. So it's some examples, for sure, but. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna round this up very, very soon. So I believe we're gonna take one last question before we're gonna go to shoutouts and all of that. Do you have any extra last question, Danny?
Not really. I mean, just it's always nice seeing you again in these interviews. I mean, the last time I saw you was I was actually with Juan. We were out eating, and Tafa was doing the interview with you.
Right.
So we tuned in and watched that, and it was really nice to see you there.
Oh, that's really cool, man.
So, yeah,
Thank you for
for sure.
watching.
And-
It's good to see you too.
Yeah, and hopefully for Bad Moon Rising, if I do choose to go, I hope you go so we can hang out and catch up. So
Yeah, I mean, again, that's still like a few months off. This story is developing every day for me, so who knows? I feel like I'm on the right path, but who knows? So hopefully I will go there and I'll see you and everything, man.
we'll be in the area for sure.
Awesome. And I think one last thing, people are asking about net play, because I actually want to talk about net play a little bit, just real quick, because I know you're trying to wrap up. You guys got things to do, Luigi's to beat people with, very important stuff. So net play, I think it's an incredibly useful tool. Like you can't argue with Cyrox's results, right? It's one dude, but there have been some other people that are lesser known that I hear about sometimes, or I see that they're like, oh, this person came up on net play or whatever. The net play warrior. Like we have some of those in our state. So, I like it as a community tool, but for me personally, I don't know if I like it. I've tried it several times. I've tried updated versions. I've tried faster melee. I've tried a lot. Even the little bit of lag that's still there makes it feel like a completely different game for me, and I feel like it would hurt me and reinforce bad muscle memory instead of help me.
It's actually no lag if you play the right people and have the right setup. It's actually lagless.
Oh, well,
Correct.
I guess the hunt is still on for good net play.
Oh man.
Well, maybe you should show your own stream all about this at some point in the future.
Domo and Plup set it up for me.
Awesome. I'm happy for you. And I hope everyone in Twitch chat is happy about that as well.
If they're close by and you set the thing to like 16 and you play someone on like I think under 50 or under 60 ping or something along those lines, then it should be lagless.
Should be like seriously pretty much.
Well, it's clearly a new tool for melee players out there, and we do see people improving a lot, partly because of that.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting moving forward to see how much of a difference it's going to make for a lot of people. But I feel like people in areas with not too many smashers might benefit the most if it turns out to be completely amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so Kevin, PPMD, any last words you want to say to your fans before we're wrapping this
Well,
up?
I'll say to the fans, I'll say thank you all so very much for being patient. Thank you for all the love tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you for contributing to ministry's fund. You know, he dearly needs it, so I'm glad you all did that. Love you guys. The last thing I'll say is, when I found out I was having heart problems, I really wanted to give up. I wasn't sure if I was going to say this, but I was like, man, this so much crap has happened. I feel like I just don't even want to try anymore. I don't even want to go through this stuff anymore. It's not worth it. But, well, first I realized I had no choice, which helped. And the second thing I realized is that I have so much unfinished business with this game, and I want to give so much to the community and everything. And I love Melee so much, and you know, you guys are phenomenal players. I want to be able to play with you and have that experience, because that's just awesome. So that type of stuff got me through, you know, definitely one of the scarier periods of my life, maybe the scariest. And so I want people to walk away from this not thinking that this is like, just because I'm not saying, oh, it's going to be soon anymore, that like it's not getting better or that it's the end or anything. No matter how long it takes, no matter what kind of crazy road I have to take, I will get back. I don't have a choice. I love this game too much, and I can't, even if I try to do anything else, I can't be as effective at it anyway while I'm still messed up, so I might as well just get better and come back to this, because, you know, I love it. So I want people to walk away knowing that I'm doing everything I possibly can to get better, and I care very much about it, and even if I'm not saying things and trying to show it all the time, it's deeply important to me. And I want people to understand that, and you know, kind of, you know, share their own passion, their own love for the game, kind of with, you know, with me, and understand what it's like to not be able to do what I want, not be able to play, and now kind of think about how I'm kind of handling that. And I think people are completely capable of it, given the right circumstances. And these people are very clearly caring right now, as you can see from the chat. So
Yeah, it's a lot of hearts.
yeah, they're beautiful, man. Beautiful people, beautiful community. I'm very blessed to be part of it. And I also want to say, before I got to go, thanks to you all for having me on here. It was a lot of fun. Great to see you all again. And thank you especially, Armada, like I said in the beginning, for putting all this together. It's just been a wonderful thing. I would like to say that I would have done something similar, or I at least contributed more if I were well. But, you know, regardless, you're doing an awesome thing, and I really do respect it.
Thank you. And I personally, these guys, and everyone out there watching, I believe earlier when you were showing, we were like close to 7K viewers. I'm not sure if we're at even more right now.
We're at like a little over 6K right now.
Yeah, that's still crazy. That's
still
good. Like, it shows that people care, and we are very happy that you decided to be a part of all of this. And I can say that since we started the front page streams, the number one thing people have talked about, the number one thing people like of the goals we have been setting up, they really wanted to see this from you, and they really appreciate that. So,
yeah, no, I absolutely love these people, and I'm glad I can at least give them something meaningful every so often, and I'm glad I got to do it for a good cause as well. So, I mean, thank you all for sticking with me. You seriously, I cannot thank you enough. I promise you, the day I'm better, I will start repaying your infinite kindness so much. I really mean it.
I can feel it from here.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to your return.
Thank you very much.
Take
I
the
won't
time
hold
you
you guys up. You guys got stuff to do, and you know, chat. I don't want to break their fingers pushing hard too much. So yeah, we'll leave it at that.
But yeah, you know, we'll be here streaming, so just watch us, be part of it.
Yeah, no, I've been tuning in. I've been tuning in for sure. I'll keep checking it out. But yeah, thank you guys. You know, I'll see you in chat.
Yeah, take care, and hope to hear from you soon again.
Me too. Bye.
Later,
See you.
Kevin. Take care.
Alright guys, that was the PPMD interview.